Ross Gordon on the Sportswrap Sitdowns. What's going on, man?
It's about time, James.
It's about time.
I blame you.
So,
I blame you.
If you've listened to a Norfolk State broadcast, you've probably heard his voice. You've probably seen him walking around the building. We're here at Eccles Hall today at Norfolk State. Assistant Athletic Director at NSU, the voice of the Spartans, longtime voice of the Spartans. Ross, the past 365 days have kind of been incredible for Norfolk State. There's been a lot of movement, a lot of conference championships, a lot of new coaches.
Right.
Summarize the past 365 days here on campus for me.
Our athletics director, Melody Webb, Dr. Melody Webb, says her hashtag is the gold standard. And I think what we've seen is what that hashtag means, the gold standard.
Yeah.
Between track, men's and women's basketball, and what our softball team did. You're looking at what kind of splashes we made with some of our hires. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing time to be around, and it's been an amazing time to be a Spartan.
You've seen a lot of teams pass through. You look at some of these banners inside Eccles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the best to ever come through here and represent the university. Would you consider this a gold age almost of Norfolk State athletics?
I think it could become the beginning of one.
Yeah.
It could become the beginning of one. What women's basketball has done consistently 3 years, winning a championship, then men's basketball winning. Now you're starting to feel the excitement with all the other sports. It's the beginning, I think, of something, especially under new leadership, under the leadership that we have now. It doesn't feel like the old times. It feels like something new.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to bring you on almost for like a State of the Union, right,
Okay.
for Norfolk State athletics. And I wanted to start with women's basketball because with what Larry Vickers did here, and then he jumped to the SEC, there was so much hype around. Both the basketball teams won conference championships this past year, and they represented very well. The men's basketball team kind of held Florida a little bit in the first half of that first-round NCAA tournament game. The women's team almost beat Maryland. Right. But when we go to the women's basketball team, and now the new regime change, and there's only a couple returning players, should the hype be the same around the women's basketball team in your mind?
One, I think yes, because I believe that we have a coach who understood what Coach Vickers did, and let's just say it now. Coach Larry Vickers was a godsend to Norfolk State University.
Absolutely.
Helped us win our first men's basketball championship as an assistant coach. Then picked up the mantle and carried the torch a mighty long way when it comes to our women's basketball program. But I believe with bringing in Coach Jermaine Woods, a Norfolk native, a guy who's coached in this conference, who's seen this place grow and seen what Coach Vickers has done, he kind of understands what it takes. And to be behind the scenes, there weren't a lot of people who wanted to step into those shoes of Larry Vickers.
Yeah.
When you look at this position, when you look at this job, you would say, hey, there should be 1 million people applying.
Yeah.
But because you're coming behind a guy who won 27 games in 30 games, it's kind of hard to say that you can duplicate that. But Jermaine Woods not only wanted the challenge, but I think he's up for the challenge. So I think our women's basketball program is still in great hands. It's still in great hands, and I think they're going to go further with the foundation that Coach Vickers laid and what Coach Woods wants to do.
How important was it to get somebody that was already in the conference and a native to come here?
Maybe more the native
than
anything, because I think one thing that Coach Vickers knew was this area. He knew how to sort of move around in this area, how to talk to people in this area. And Coach Woods is the same guy. He's the same guy from Norfolk. Coach Vickers was from Virginia Beach. He loves this area. He loves the individuals who he coaches, and I believe that goes a long way. And I think that's the same story. You don't keep A.J. Richardson if you don't have that same kind of I care and I want to see you do well. You don't keep Debria Clark if you don't have that same kind of mentality that Coach Vickers has and pouring into his young ladies. And I think that's going to be something that we see on a day-to-day basis with our women's basketball program.
With as much as you guys lost on the women's basketball team, keeping Debria, keeping AJ, keeping a core that had seen the success for the past couple of years, when AJ came back and that was announced, I think everybody in the sports office, I think all of Norfolk State fans were like, wow, because she could be a Power 4 basketball player somewhere.
She's special. And I think when you're playing behind someone who is just as special or probably more, especially in her junior and senior years in Diamond, you really don't see it, but you saw flashes of brilliance AJ. And I think in our biggest games against Power Fives and Power Four schools, you saw her brilliant. She's able to get to the cup. She's able to shoot the basketball.
Yeah.
She's able to put stuff out of her mind really, really quickly. And she was really the catalyst when people started to try to take away Diamond, even though she was a prolific scorer. AJ from that guard position is someone who can break down defenses, who can shoot the outside shot and get to the cup and finish.
With the men's basketball team, it's been Robert Jones for a long time,
right?
But I want to reference something that he mentioned, I think in December, which was months before the March Madness tournament, talking about how he had always been recruiting Brian Moore to try to stay here at Norfolk State, and then he called it Norfolk State Community College because of the amount of turnover year to year that he has to change his roster, and that blew up, right? And that I think Dan Patrick talked about that, Jay Williams talked about that, so there was a lot of buzz in the mid-major scene because of what he said.
Right.
How difficult, when you see him day to day working to recruit pretty much new rosters almost every single year and find that A-level guy that a Jamari Thomas was, a Brian Moore was, what's that grind like? What do you see in terms of him revamping rosters every year?
It's kind of scary because it looks easy. From the outside looking in. He has a method. He has a roadmap to get to where he wants to be, and he says it every year around this time. I don't know what we got. And for some odd reason, we end up winning a regular season championship or a conference championship with the player of the year. Brian Moore probably could have been the player of the year this year. He was a state player of the year, which says a lot.
Mid-major player of the year, too.
Mid-major player of the year. And this is a great state for college basketball. And a lot of college basketball players doing what they've done. Brian stood out above the rest. And I think that if you look at it, he's been here a while, 15 years now.
Yeah.
The question is, what hasn't he done at this point? Besides, he's won a game in the tournament. You know what I'm saying? He's won first 4 game, and as an assistant, he's won a game against a 2 seed. I think, where he wants to go is I think the next step. I think he wants to get to a Sweet 16 game, and I think he wants to get past that first round and be successful in the tournament. I think he can do that.
How big is it that ODU is back on the schedule for Norfolk State?
Texas should always play Texas A&M.
Love that.
Yeah. Texas should always play Texas A&M. You never go to Cincinnati and not see Cincinnati play Xavier.
Yeah.
In basketball, I think it matters.
Yeah.
I think it matters. It matters that 2 Division I schools in the same city play each other, but not just play each other, but play each other in each other's gyms.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it also brings a lot of not only hype to the city, but I think ODU is going to be better.
Yeah, I think they are too.
I think ODU is going to be better, and I think what they were last year, you're not going to see this year. And then, with Norfolk State's probably going to be better. So it's a deep team. It's a deeper roster this year than last year, and last year's was really good.
Yeah.
It just matters, man, for city pride. I think the mayor's going to be happy. The city council will be happy. The city will be happy, and I know a lot of people were saying this should be played at maybe a neutral site, but no. It matters
it's
that you
special
play
that it's in here, that it's in Chartway.
Yeah, it matters. It matters.
At Camp Community College, we think big. Your future is now. Fall registration is open. Classes start August 21st. Believe in your future. Grow with PDC. Apply at pdc.edu/growmyfuture.
Quick flip to women's basketball again. How did they and this athletic department get Duke and Ole Miss to come here?
Hey, listen.
That is wild.
Jermaine Woods might have. He says it all the time. Connections are
everything.
Are important.
Yeah.
Just who you know, and he really started the trend at Coppin State. No one thought LSU should be in downtown Baltimore.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, well, Angel Reese is from Baltimore. No, it takes a lot to get that team to Baltimore to play a game in your gym, because if you lose that game, that could say a lot about your future unless you win the national championship. Arizona State went to Coppin last year.
Yeah.
And they felt it. They felt the wrath of not winning in that space. But when I say to have a Duke come here, just look at the narratives, what you can paint, the picture you can paint. Carol Lawson coming home.
Yeah,
and she's from Virginia. She coaches in North Carolina, but she's near Charlottesville. But she's coming home, playing HBCU coming home. Ole Miss not being afraid to come to a place where there are not a lot of people who want to come here and play.
Yeah.
Even though you won't see that behind the scenes, nobody will say that out loud.
We saw last year, James Madison came here to play the men's team,
Right.
and they got blown out.
Right. Nobody really wants to come here to
Yeah.
play because this is a difficult place to play. For Coach Vickers, I think the winning streak is crazy. He was home winning streak.
Yeah.
That might be in jeopardy a little bit with
Mm-hmm.
Duke and Ole Miss coming in, but for a guy like Jermaine Woods to accept the challenge,
Yeah.
it means a lot. But for a guy like Jermaine Woods to make the call,
It's a big deal.
It also says a lot about him, that it doesn't really matter who it is. We just want to make sure we play.
I want to move to football because I see some of the players on the field right now kind of working. Michael Vick, and I know that's been the chatter ever since there was the rumor in the first place with Sacramento State as well, kind of in the fold. What was the first indication that Vick was going to come here?
When he said, "I'm coming."
That's when everybody.
That's when everybody felt okay.
Yeah.
You had the Sacramento State thing floating around, and then for someone to accept the job on something that he's never done before. Let's be honest, this is new.
This is new.
This is new for him, new territory. From building a roster to, knowing eligibility rules to just being a head football coach at a collegiate level, it's new. So.
Yeah.
And I know it took a lot for him to make the decision. It was a huge family decision, and I think once he said, "Yeah, I'm ready to go," I think that's when we all felt comfortable.
What was the first conversation, though? I mean, was the team, the athletic department, did they get together and say, like, here's a list of names, and, like, we want to try to reach out to Michael Vick, or did Michael Vick reach out here?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think in any kind of situation like this, you want to make sure that where you go from here makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of parties, a lot of campus partners to see what works, a lot of internal meetings to see what we could do, to see where we could go with whomever comes in, and there was some conversation between our side to his just to see if he was interested.
Yeah.
And once you got the I'm interested, and then everything else in the process sort of worked itself out.
Has there ever been considered a risk in taking a guy who has never coached on the collegiate level before, or is it always just he's going to fill out a roster around him of coaches who have done it on that level to help him ease into that system?
I think there's that's an interesting question. One, because the engine will always be the head coach.
Yeah.
He sets the tone, and he is the reason why some of the individuals who are coming here.
Right.
You have to have right people around him to coach, which is accurate. But the engine is the head coach, and again, it's something that's new.
Yeah.
It's something that's new. So everybody's growing at the same time. You look at the names on the staff, and you look at where they've come from, and you look at where they've been, and you say these guys have a wealth of knowledge, and that's true. That's true. But week to week, there's a different kind of grind, and there's a different kind of thing that you have to accomplish. And I think as it goes along, you see them growing, and they're doing it in a great pace and under his leadership where he wants to be, which I think matters.
What have you seen in terms of the buzz? I know that maybe the buzz has kind of died a little bit since he originally stepped in. Well, I don't know, because it was the national headlines and the goodbyes on Fox Sports, and now it's time to get to work, right? I wonder, when is that transition going to be, when it's Michael Vick, the head coach, and then just Coach Vick?
I think we saw it a little bit during spring. You asked to come out. Everybody asked to come out. Everybody was seeing how it is, and I think it's for a lot of people, you have to make your transition. And I think he's done a great job of making sure that he's on his pace to make sure that when it comes to July 28th, when they get on campus, he's ready for everybody to go, and everybody's ready to know what's going to happen, from his media availability to his off campus interviews to whatever he has. He's done a great job of managing that, and I think that's for a lot of people outside, they don't see it, but for him, it's managing it and making sure that he puts everything in in the right spaces to make sure he can get to wherever he wants to get to. There's a lot of requests that come in every day just to talk to him.
Wow.
You know, there's a lot of requests to do a background story. There's a lot of requests to do a day in the life of. You know, it's every day.
It's stuff that we don't see on the outside. That I'm sure there are inner workings.
Yeah. And there are things that we have going on now that you'll see later. But again, it's just what are we looking at here today? And when a lot of people don't see it, they just automatically assume nothing's happening.
Right.
And there's a lot of stuff going on. So I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. But the hype hasn't gone down. I mean, you're looking at season ticket sales being better this year. You're looking at game day, single game tickets are going on sale in a couple of days, and everybody's excited. Everybody's where they need to be. Everybody's where they want to be right now. And I think that means a lot to this program because there's a lot of excitement that we haven't experienced before.
Football is such a cash cow,
right, especially
in the college space, and this base has been starving for football success, right? What is the buzz amongst the student body that you've interacted with?
I think everybody's excited, but everybody's also cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
You know, I think with a lot of these things, you want change to be immediate. As a matter of fact, South Carolina State.
Yeah.
Immediate change.
It's a great example.
Yeah, immediate change. And he went from not the bottom of the barrel, but, you know, from a program that had been having a lot of success to a program that had struggled a little bit. He took it back to the prominence in a year. Mm-hmm. If that's everybody's goal, that might be a little bit difficult. But I think that with this staff and with some of the individuals who are coming into this program, sky's the limit.
We talked about non-rev sports as well and the success that they've had, whether it was the track. Softball popped up randomly, I feel like, on everybody's radar.
Right.
Let's touch softball for a brief second. Were you surprised at all when you saw how they pushed Howard and they were toward the top of the MEAC table?
I guess after meeting our head coach and her staff, the one thing that she always preached was, I don't know if we'll win it all, but I want to win it all, and we'll be better.
Yeah.
And we'll be better. And there was never a moment in her, from day one to now, that she hasn't kept that the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She's been very, very consistent. She's a winner.
Yeah.
She's a winner, and again, you look at what she sort of brought to a 4 in whatever program.
Yeah.
She kept a lot of the same individuals, just brought some more out of them. And you know, they're a year older, got a little bit younger in certain spots, but they played Angela Nicholson softball. That's what she wanted. You know, run a little bit, hit the ball, play solid defense. They made some steps last year, and they found themselves in second place.
With baseball, they are on a completely clean slate now, right? At least wanting to head in that direction. I know Justin Jornette's been working out for teams, and how big is it to keep a guy like that has broken the home run record here at Norfolk State, that is a hitter, is a player, is a Virginia guy? If he decides to stay, how massive is that?
It solidifies that we made the right decision at the head coaching spot.
Yeah.
But it also says that, like, talent can be found anywhere.
Yeah.
Talent can be found anywhere, and if someone offers him the right thing, you know, we can't be selfish and say not go. But I think it matters that he took his name out of the portal. You know what I'm saying? He said, I want to come back and play if these things don't shake out for me. And I think, you know, when you're looking at it, not just him, you know, we got Jalen Jones back. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? A solid outfielder, a guy who can play everywhere. You know, you bring guys back, and it's a guy in ML Morgan who I believe will have the attention of the locker room day one, who, again, you talked about it when you interviewed him, came from the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah.
He has a sense of understanding about, you know, what it means to do a lot more with a little bit less. And, you know, from the indication from the guys that I've talked to, they're all in. And they're all in, and they bought into ML Morgan being the head baseball coach here. And I think it matters that he cares and he wants to be here. And he knows the landscape, with his father being the head coach at Virginia State and his brother coaching alongside his father at Virginia State. You know, he's he knows the HBCU culture, and most importantly, he knows the state of Virginia, and he knows all the great baseball players in the state of Virginia. So he has a tie into him. So if we, like next year, when he begins to get out and go out and find his team a little bit more, you'll see a bit of a change in recruiting strategy and what he wants to do. But I think you'll see a change this year as well.
I want to dive into you. You're a Virginia guy. Why'd you pick up the mic?
My brother. It was my brother. He worked at the radio station when I got to campus. He got, you know what I'm saying, he was in here, and he's grown immensely in the comedy world. Cletus Cassidy's pretty funny. He's grown immensely in the comedy world, and I saw him here, and I said, hey, let me see what he's doing. And I went into Hot 91. It was 91.1 at that point. It wasn't hot at that point. It was just 91.1. And Edward Turner, who was the station manager at that point, he said, you like sports? Because I watch sports all the time. I talk about sports all the time. Yeah, we have a need for a basketball play-by-play guy. And I was horrible. I was horrible the first couple of years, but, grew into it, and I loved it ever since. So I think, I thank Edward Turner. I thank my brother for being in a space where he could, get me into the radio station to even have an opportunity.
What was your favorite call of all time?
Favorite call of all time, beating Missouri. Beating Missouri. Going to the NCAA tournament is a thing in itself.
Yeah.
We just so happened to be at one of the best spots at the right time.
Yeah.
Kansas was in that pod. We played Missouri. Kansas played after us, so all the Kansas fans were there.
Yeah.
So I've never heard an arena like of that size. I think Creighton plays there. Arena of that size is pretty huge. I've never seen an arena of that size cheer for the green and gold.
Yeah.
They were excited. The game was amazing from start to finish, and to see like that last rebound, Phil Pressey shot the shot, and from my vantage point, in the second half, he was doing some amazing things. In that second half, it didn't look like anything was missing from Phil Pressey. When I saw it, I was like, man, it was a good day. But to see it graze off the rim and Kyle come down with the basketball, it made the best call of all time. I wish I would have saved it, but I don't have it.
You said you're biased, obviously, right? How do you separate Ross Gordon the fan to Ross Gordon the? Because I think for people who are at home that are listening to this, we're both broadcasters, right? You gotta suppress your fandom sometimes. So, but you work for Norfolk State Athletics,
correct?
So how do you not flip? How do you kind of keep that balance?
It's interesting because officiating bothers me. So if you see or hear my fandom, it's probably going to be in officiating conversations. But the first thing I was taught in my limited teaching that I received was you have to be neutral.
Yeah,
you have to be neutral. Shirley Whitaker told me to make sure I said the score, but everybody else said you got to be neutral.
Yeah.
You got to be neutral, and it's just something that stuck with me. And I think you get a better broadcast that way.
Yeah.
You get a better broadcast that way. Even if you're a huge fan of a team, you get a better broadcast when you're able to see the game as it is. Because there have been some performances in here that if I was a homer all the way, wouldn't have been a great call.
Yeah.
Terrence Woods at FAMU might have put in on some of the best shooting performances I've ever seen. But I had to call it as a fan of the game, not a fan of Norfolk State. Again, Bradley Beal. You got a chance to broadcast Bradley Beal when he was in school. Even at Hampton, some of my high school friends, Kendall Langford, who ended up playing in the league, and maybe Jerome Mathis, who's now the head coach at Petersburg High School, in the football program. I got a chance to call their games, and you look at it, every play they made, you were excited, but you had to keep it neutral, and they played for another team.
Yeah.
So it's been a great journey, but it's been amazing to be neutral, to enjoy each game as it is.
Is there a bucket list call that you still want to have that you haven't had?
And I've had a buzzer beater.
Last season you had a buzzer beater.
Yeah.
Well, technically. Right.
yeah.
With Brian, yeah.
Yeah, because that ended up being a strange situation.
There's like 0.3 on the clock or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
And they got another shot at it. I've had a last-second touchdown to win it. A few years ago back at Morgan State, I believe Otto Coons threw the ball to Daquan Felton in the corner end zone. Felton, who ended up transferring
to Tech.
Yeah. No walk-off home runs.
No walk-off home runs?
No walk-off home runs. Closest thing, I was there for the walk-off hit for baseball to win the championship in 2021, but we did not broadcast it. Is there anything else? I've called a 40-point game. I've called a 40-point game with Tony Murphy a long time ago at the University of Richmond. That was crazy. It seemed like everything he threw up
just went in.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think if there is something I want to do, again, I want to experience like the highest of the highs.
Yeah.
So, for us in football, it's the Celebration Bowl.
Yeah.
I want to be able to go to the Celebration Bowl and call a winning game for the Celebration Bowl. For men's and women's basketball, I want to be able to say, we've got the furthest that we've ever gotten in the NCAA tournament. I think that matters.
What do you think a 15-year-old Ross Gordon would say to this one right now?
Man, you've really grown out. That's all I got.
That's all you got?
No, I mean, it's certain things that I've come to realize now. Like, I wanted to be an educator when I was, because my whole family, they're educators, and it's funny how God has a way of just sending you whichever way you're supposed to go. And I think to tell stories, I've been able to tell stories for a long time, and that's a gift.
Yeah.
For someone just like yourself, man, when you're given a recap of a game, you can't tell everything.
Right.
You have to paint a picture that someone else can understand. Someone who's not a basketball fan, not a baseball fan, not a football fan, but how you paint the story changes somebody's perspective of a game.
Yeah.
You can lose by 100, but you can paint the picture that says, hey, it was still a close game.
Yeah.
And for us, I think that, for me, as a 15-year-old kid, just saying, who'd have thought? You know what I'm saying? I'd be here, and I've done the things I've done. Traveled to Vegas for free, been a part of so many great opportunities. It's pretty special. Congratulations, and you've grown out will probably be two things that I would tell myself from 15-year-old to now.
Do you remember the first story you ever painted?
The first story I ever painted, it was a basketball game. And we were on the road, I believe, Fang Mitchell at Coppin State. And at that point in time, Fang Mitchell was the guy. He was getting all the guys from Philly. He was winning games. And, I think we won up there at Coppin State, and it was very difficult to win there. And everyone knew it. But if you're not there, you have to be able to make sure that people see exactly what you saw. And that probably was the best picture I ever painted, because no one probably expected us to do it.
What is your why?
A kid, I think Ethan, and showing him the other side of it, it feels good that we can have conversations about how, even though he plays basketball, how I would look at a game. So, he gets to come with me to some games, and she averages this, she averages that, she averages this.
Yeah.
He's into the game. He sees it a little bit differently because he's seen it from a different side.
Yeah.
And to be able to hear him speak about that, and to be able to see him even play the game that he loves, I think that's my largest why.
That motivates you to get out of bed?
Yeah. To see him interested in it. His mom was athletics director. His mom has done a lot of great things, and You know, she's amazing at what she does, and she loves athletics. You know, she moved to the other side of campus, but I think, you know, he's been a sponge from both of our sides, and you know, I love the fact that he sees it from her end, from her angle, from her perspective, as well as from the more behind the microphone, behind the microphone aspect as well.
Last one. What can you expect? Paint a picture right now? That first August Thursday night, Norfolk State, Towson, under the lights. Paint the picture.
I've been asked this 3 times, and every time it's changed. And the picture, the only thing I see is fireworks. The only thing I see is fireworks for a lot of different reasons. Because one, you're stepping into a new era.
Yeah.
2, you're going to see some different types of athletes here. You know, athletes who, you know, have been at Power Fours. But the intro will be the same. Good evening, Spartan fans. Welcome to Dick Price Stadium, home of your Norfolk State University Spartans, as they kick off the 2025 season with expectations and beliefs of winning the 2025 MEAC crown and representing the MEAC in the Celebration Bowl here in December. Michael Vick, new head coach. Izzy Carter, new quarterback. So many things to look forward to, and it starts right now.
Man, if that doesn't give you chills, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
Ross, I appreciate the time, brother.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
Next time I'll be better.
next time we'll both be better.
Thank you.
From Eccles Hall, James Kattato for another episode of Sportswrap Sit-Downs. We will catch you on the next one.